Hey church, Pastor Shane here, another community group discussion starter video. He is risen. I assume you said he is risen indeed, I can't tell. Anyway, it's Easter Sunday and I'm just wrapping up here, and it's an exciting week to talk about the resurrection, that Christ was raised from the dead, which gives us hope for our own resurrection and salvation. And there's so much we could talk about when it comes to the resurrection, because so much of Christian faith and belief is based on the resurrection of Christ and our future resurrection as well. So as you have your discussion today, it really kind of breaks into two parts. The first is to talk about kind of the evidence of the resurrection we talked about. I'm not going to kind of go through all that right now. I hope you listen to the sermon or listen to it before your community group. You'll be in 1 Corinthians 15, which kind of presents some of that evidence to you for the resurrection. But talk about there's just something new you learned. How does that affect the way you view the resurrection that has encouraged your faith? Like, how does that encourage your faith? And you're going to be talking some about that. And the second part is kind of our response to the resurrection, that it should change the way we live our everyday lives. Because it puts God's power on display. It confirms the cross as a forgiveness of our sins, that Christ is raised from the dead, that if God has the power to overcome death, certainly has the power to help us overcome death, to help us turn away from our sin towards Christ. Certainly has the power to forgive us because of what Christ did for us on the cross. And so you'll be talking about some of the implications and how your point of view changes because of the resurrection. And how you should change your mind and your heart as you consider that God raised Christ from the dead. I don't know where you are this week kind of in your walk with Christ, but I hope that Easter was an encouragement to you. That helped draw you towards God. It helped remind you what was most important. And all the busyness of craziness of life, that God's power is the kind of power that overcomes the grave. And if that is true, then His power can work mightily in our lives today as well. And so I hope you have a great discussion and really celebrate that the Lord has risen.